All right, time to give our predictions for the draft tonight. Washington on the clock at 29 currently. Will they stay there? And who will they pick? Max is going to make his pick first. Then I will do it. Then Chris and Craig will jump on and we'll talk draft and they'll give their predictions as well. So, Max, go ahead. I know you've given a lot of thought to this. You've studied it very hard. What are they going to do tonight at 29? Or will they stay at 29?
See, that's the thing. I'm gonna just keep banking on Joe Shane and the Giants just being dumb. I really think Adam Peters has shown he hasn't been afraid to trade with teams in division. So I really could see the Giants taking Abdul Carter at 3 and then wanting to get back into the first round to have a little bit more control. I think they will trade back with the Giants, and the Giants will probably take Jackson Dart or Tyler Shuck with that 29th pick.
Okay. But you got to have a pick now for the Giants at what, 34?
Yes. So
is that where it is? 34?
Yes, I believe so. Let me quickly check Tankathon. Yes, 34. Yeah. So that is where it gets a little tricky. I'm not sure who's going to be there. I like Ezeraku, but I don't think he'll be there in the second round. Hairston might be there. So that's, if he's there in the top of the second, I would love Maxwell Hairston to be Washington Commander because he's so fast. That would set up our corner room for the next, 2-3 seasons. I think they would be much better off with Maxwell Hairston in that room.
So you got a corner, Maxwell Hairston.
Maxwell Hairston. Max is picking Max.
Dude just could fly. I like him as a corner. So I think they're going to pick at 29 for the reasons that I've stated. I also think it would be interesting if the Giants called Washington to trade. Would Washington give them a quarterback that they wanted in the first round? I don't think they should worry about it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not because I think Joe Shane's an idiot. I still think that the Saquon Barkley thing is such an interesting conversation because it was perfect for him in Philadelphia, but would it have been perfect for him on that team in New York? Maybe not. Anyway, that's digressing from the topic at hand. So, look, I see a first round that ends up, seeing a lot of the possibilities of edge pass rusher gone. Like, it will not shock me at all if Donovan Azaruko, the edge rusher from Boston College, goes as high as, say, 17 to Cincinnati, and then watching, other guys come off the board well in advance of Washington selecting at 29. Any of those guys, Mikael Williams, any of the guys that might be possibilities, I think they're all gone at that point. And I think Washington has to settle for a corner or an offensive lineman. When I say settle, I don't mean settle. I just think that will be the position group that will be the best player available on the board. I don't think there are going to be offers from, a Cleveland or a Giants to come back into the first round, or even a Pittsburgh or a New Orleans if they don't take a quarterback in the first round. I think they make the pick at 29. I hope, by the way, you're right. And by the way, if they got to trade back and still got Maxwell Hairston, that'd be awesome. What'd you say?
Be a coup.
Yeah. Let me just tell you that if Tyler Booker, the guard, is available at 29, that's who they're going to take. But I think he'll be gone. I don't see them taking Hampton. I could see them taking Henderson. But by the way, it's possible that both of those guys are gone by the time Washington picks. Seriously. So I come down to, who do I think would be the player that they have fallen in love with, and at the same time, talent-wise, would be the best player available on their board at 29. This might be a reach to expect him to be on the board at 29. But I think number 7, the corner from Texas, Zadeh Barron, is the pick at 29. This guy meets all of the Washington, kind of requirements. He is a really good player. He is a super smart player. He's very, very versatile. All that gets talked about Barron when they discuss him is his football IQ, which is one of the reasons he's able to play a lot of different positions. I think he's more of an outside corner than he is an inside corner, but he's played all over the place. He's played in a lot of zone-heavy schemes for sure, but he's played corner, outside, inside. He's played safety, in the box safety. This guy is such a versatile player, and he's a playmaker. Led the SEC in interceptions, led the SEC in passes defended, had big-time games. Look, they had some big games. Texas did on the schedule this year, right? They played Georgia early in the year. In that game, he had 2 interceptions in that game against Georgia and Carson Beck. Just all over the field. They ended up losing that game, if you recall, that big Saturday night game back in October. He played exceptionally well in their SEC championship win, loss to Georgia in overtime. Remember that game in the rematch? Had an interception in that game. Led the team, or was close to leading the team in tackles in their playoff win over Arizona State. This guy lacks some of the athletic stuff. That's the thing that you have to wonder about Barron from Texas, is he's barely 5'11". He's barely 190 pounds. He doesn't have long arms. In fact, he's got shorter arms, but what makes up for it is his incredible IQ, his anticipation, his ability to kind of read the situation. He's always around the ball. Like, he had a fumble return in that game against Georgia. He's picked up block punts. He plays special teams. I think that he's the guy that he might look there. I've seen him mocked as high as to the Jets in the top 10. But assuming Ezeraku isn't there, because I think he would be the pick, I'm going with Jahdae Barron, corner, Texas, at 29. I'd be thrilled with the pick, and it would be a best player available because, they have Marshawn Lattimore. They've got Sandra still. They brought back Noah I. They added Jonathan Jones. But I think if the pass rusher edge that they want isn't there, it's corner or offensive lineman, and I think Barron would be the best player on their board if he's there at 29. That's my prediction. You've got a corner. I've got a corner. I hope, by the way, that it would not be an indication that they are concerned about Marshawn Lattimore.